the capitalism, or the system of capitalism, where we know that the European countries, Britain, America, and the rest were seriously into the capitalist agenda. Prior to that, in the 1917s, the capitalist system had broken down in Russia, and they had adopted the socialist system. Now, the socialist system, which was implanted in Russia, then it was called, the country was called, okay, let me ask, who knows the former name of today's Russia? Yeah, Betty?
The Soviet Union.
Yeah, say all. Tell us all.
So all I know is the Soviet Union.
All right. It's not just Soviet Union. Matthew?
I only know the initial USSR.
Yeah, the initials USSR. I am asking for the real thing because yeah, Tete, Eugenia, Eugenia.
Union,
Mm-hmm.
SEP, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
Good, good. It's a union of social Soviet Republic. Thank you. Because it was made up of a number of countries. Czech Republic was part of it, Ukraine part of it, all those small countries that are now standing on their own, they were all part of it. Russia was part of it. So it wasn't just Russia. It was made up of a group of, in fact, it was a bigger country than US. It was bigger than US. So they had collapsed the capitalist system and they were using the socialist system. What's the socialist system? Who understands it? What do you mean by socialist system of government? All right. The socialist system was that it's a kind of communalism. So we all work, we all put the money into a common pool, and we all use the money equally. No one says that I am the employer. No one says that I own the business, and therefore you work for me and I pay you. No. The state properties, the state institutions belong to all of us. No one person has that full control over anything. That's what the system. Now, capitalism is a system that gives power to one person. It creates a serious social structure where one person will say, yes, I am the entrepreneur. I am the capitalist. So I have set up my business. Come and work in it, and I pay you. And I decide how much I should pay you. So Europe was practicing this kind of government. If I talk of Europe, I'm talking of England, France, Denmark, all those countries around. So these were the two systems going on. And when at a point, capitalism was practiced in USSR, as I mentioned, but it got collapsed in 1917. There were arguments going on, serious arguments going on around the world as whether the socialist system or the communal system will survive or capitalism will go down one day. So Arthur Blair then decided to write a book. He decided to fictionalize this whole idea of the struggle between capitalism and then the socialist system, and so on. And therefore, attempting to write a critique on this, and attempting also to make a judgment on the debate. Because if you look at the book, there is a conclusion, there's a judgment on the debate. What was the judgment, or what is the judgment in the book? Any idea what the judgment is? Those who have read the book. Wow. So it means no one has read the book. Yes, Selena.
Yeah, please, what I arrived from the book was that both ideologies, if not managed well, will amount to the same outcome.
I see. All right. Thank you for the contribution. Any other? Any other?
Sir, what I got from the book was that the the socialism that was introduced by Napoleon and Snowball was one that was helping the group. But when the capitalism came in by Napoleon, it rather came to ruin everything. Thank you.
Ejewa, we can't hear you. I couldn't hear you, Ejewa. Come again.
Sir, please, I said that when the socialism that was
Hello,
introduced
Ejewa.
in the beginning, the
Mhm.
socialism that was introduced in the beginning by Snowball. Let me start in the beginning. I think it was helping the group. Peace was, and the animals were happy. But when Snowball took over, then began to implement the capitalist system of government, the animals began to suffer. That is where we find in the chapter 7 or somewhere. The animals began to suffer. So I think that the socialism was helping than the capitalism in the book. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Adam, can we hear you?
Okay. Prof, please, what I can say is that with the judgment in the book, we can say that the revolution failed in a way that um, they had that revelation in a way to get their freedom, but the pigs then tend to be identical to the humans. Therefore, there wasn't any sense in what they did. That's what I say. Because the pigs
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much.
came um, just as their operators. So their revolution failed. That's what it is.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you. That's exactly the judgment that was passed. So, Arthur Blair or George Orwell in the book made this clear judgment that the revolution in Russia would not succeed. It will definitely come to an end one day. And today, as we speak, we know Russia has broken down, right? USSR has broken down during the period of Mikhail Gorbachev. It broke down. And they now have separate countries. And then some are into serious capitalist business, just like Ukraine, now in bed with USA, right? Doing all those things. So the only place left is Russia. And even in Russia, they are into capitalism. They are into a kind of capitalism more than the socialist policy or socialist governance that they were operating. So in that sense, it was very difficult for Arthur Blair to hold on to his identity because he was stepping on serious toes. He was stepping on serious toes. So he had to hide his identity. That's one reason. There's another form of identity lost or identity hiding in the book. Who can tell me? There was another form of identity concealment in the book. Yeah. Is it Fufi?
Yes, sir. Prof, good
Mhm.
morning.
Good morning.
Instead of he to use humans' names, you try to use animals in place of human to avoid maybe punishments.
All right. Yes, any other, please? Yeah, let's hear you. Is that Panda?
Yes, thank you, Doc, Prof, and good morning. What I have to say is, and they don't do to my brother who gets another identity loss in the book, Alma's Farm, is clearly in the title and the characters in the book. Seeing it for the first time, you think it is talking about animals. So it makes the people not get it at the onset, but they had it at the later part, but which he has already achieved it. Thank you.
All right. So you are talking about the title, is that right?
The
Panda,
title and the characters
just
as well.
on the title and the characters as well. I see.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. All right. So we have Daniel, your hand is up.
Yeah, Prof, thank you. Another thing that he has concealed is European countries that around. He didn't mention that the European countries, but he said other farms around.
But I think there's one country that gets mentioned in the book. Yes, there's concealment, yes. But then there's one country that gets mentioned in the book. Which is that? Which country is that? Selena.
So please, England.
Good. So England gets mentioned in the book. Yeah. So though he conceals the countries and identities of the characters and so on, we see a level of bias. Patience, your hand is up. I will hear you. Oh, she's gone. Yeah, Patience, let's hear you.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the country that was mentioned.
All right, that's fine. Adam, your hand is up. Can we hear you? Okay, she's also gone.
Yes,
Right.
Prof. Um, please can I talk?
Yeah, go on.
Talking of the hidden identity, I can say that at the end of the novel, we got to know that the re- revolutionary, those animals that wanted to fight for their freedom, their leaders, then turned out to be just like their oppressors.
Mm. All right.
So I can say that the revolutionary then tend to be like the oppressors.
All right. So if you look at it, the some of the countries were hidden, and then there's that clear bias shown. At Blair, knowing very well that he's an Englishman, seems to right to defend the capitalist system in England. So he openly mentions England in the book, though he did not say that the story was set in England. He didn't say that, right? But I will get the names of the characters in the book, the human characters in the book, reflecting, suggesting the possible places in Europe that the story is set. Good. So therefore, if you look at this attempt to conceal the identity of the characters, the identity of the stories, and all that, the bias makes it a dangerous thing for Atable to show his face, because he makes it clear that the animals are in England, and therefore the saying the anthem, the beast of England, the beast of England. So the animals are in England, they sing their song, they sing their anthem, and that gives them out. Number two, though identities were concealed, let me say that the names of the characters in the book were symbolic, heavily symbolic. Heavily symbolic in the sense that the one who led a successful revolution in France is called Napoleon. What's the full name? Who knows the full name of Napoleon, the one who led the revolution in France? Yes, Matthew.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Thank you, Napoleon Bonaparte. So to bring Napoleon in here is a clear indication that you have an amalgamation of people from different countries. Matthew, your hand is still up. Can we hear you?
Sorry, sir,
Right.
it was a mistake.
It's okay, yeah. So to have this name there shows that, yes, there's France there, there's England here, there's this and that and that and that there, and so on. Right. Now, let's become again. You also realize that even among the European countries, there were struggles. Among the European countries, there were struggles. Right? What were the struggle among the European countries in the book? And we see the struggles even today. We see the struggles even today. Yeah, Panda.
The struggle for power, who to be superior over the other. Even
Thank you. Good. Who is to lead? So today, if you go to Europe, there's something they call European Union. And in this European Union, Britain is not part of the Union. Britain is not part of the Union. So whereas they are all using the euro, Britain is still using the pound, right? So there's that struggle. So the concealment is a very serious or a crafty approach of writing the book, such that one, it creates a whole lot of suspense. A whole lot of suspense. What does it mean to say it creates suspense? What does it mean to say it creates suspense? All right. Now, it creates suspense because, one, Abigail.
Sir, please, it's a technique a writer used to urge the readers to read on to find out what will happen in future or the next episode or chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? All right. So the suspense is that there are so many things hidden in this book. So many things hidden in the book. After the story itself, we know we can follow the story. It's straight. But then is the writer just talking about the story as he presents in the book? So who are represented in the characters, the animals? For example, when you talk of Old Major, who in real world is connected to Old Major? If you talk of Snowball, which is a method of gathering information, doing things gently, slowly, methodically to gather information. That's a method of teaching, right? Snowball, data collection approach, snowballing. Who represents Snowball, or who is reflected in Snowball in real life situation? If you come to Skrilla, who is this? Who is Boxer? Who is Clover? Right? So all these identities are hidden, and you want to find out who they are. You're also talking of the systems of government. So who is represented by what in the book? For example, we know that Mr. Jones and his wife were practicing capitalism. They were in charge of the farm, and they even call it manor farm. How was Mr. Jones managing the farm? We're told that he went out to get drunk. He came back, he didn't feed the animals, and the animals got angry and then staged the war, revolution against him, and they became independent. Who is Mr. Jones? We are told in the book that long before this thing happened, there's a man called Old Major, a big pig, who had been on the farm for a very long time, claimed to have had a dream. So he invited the animals and told them the dream. that if you really want to be independent, to be yourself, then a man must be away of their life so that they can manage their own things and then live happily. So the man here is not Mr. Jones per se, but the man is symbolic of all humanity. That animals must do away with humanity entirely. Have nothing to do with humanity. So Mr. Jones was just a symbol of the human beings that we should get rid of. So who is this Mr. Jones? Around the farm, we had the Fredericks, we had the Pickingtons, and so on. And I've told you that Mr. Jones is symbolic. The Fredericks represent the country, the Pickingtons represent the country, and all others represent countries. Right. So the suspense was so huge. And that's the reason why when the book was written, it gained a huge popularity around the world. So much that some countries even barred it. For example, in Ghana in the 1960s, nobody was allowed to read that book. Nobody was to read that book publicly or talk about it publicly. It never found space in Ghanaian schools. It was after Nkrumah was overthrown that they made it an open text that people can read and study it in schools, because it was critiquing a social system or social systems. It was critiquing social systems. So one, the characters were not real human being characters, but it was a mixture of human beings. The real architects of the revolution, the real perpetrators of internal criticism were the animals. Now, if you want to use animals to show that they have sense, which animal would you use? If you were to write this book and to demonstrate that, yes, we are animals, we have better sense than human beings, which animals would you use? Betty?
Tortoise.
You use tortoise?
Yes, sir.
I see. That is you. Hope, which one will you use?
The spider.
You use the spider.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, Panda?
I use Papa and Nancy.
You use Nancy. All right. Ernest?
Please, I will use ant.
Ant.
Yes, please.
I see. Fadi, which one will you use? Fadi? Matthew?
I'll use the fox.
The fox. I see. Frida?
I'll use elephants.
The elephant that had destroyed Ghana, you want to use the elephant? Kofi?
I will use grandmother.
Now, why hasn't anyone mentioned the pig? Why? Can anyone explain why? Betty, why?
Sir, please, there are, in my opinion, I don't think pigs are that wise, because they are animals that when you bath, they go back to the dirt again. So how can this animal be a wise animal? So I will never accept that pigs are wise.
So see, that's also another insult, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
and then when they are feeding, they feed animal what we call human being excrete. So when the people defecate, even when in the house, when children even defecate, they will want to come and feed on it. They don't even care whether it's in the house or any place. So such an animal is not an animal that you use to portray human life.
They all
was just a symbolic.
So if it's critiquing the society, then we can obviously say that. What?
Okay.
The hand my question on the word.
So I want to answer your question.
Kofi?
Yeah, I've spoken already. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's get.
Hello, Prof. Hello. Wow, network.
I asked a question. How do you call those things?
Hello, sorry, please.
How
Respectfully,
do you
is
call
Satan.
a text that critiques? Thank you. It's Satan. So would you agree? Would you agree that the book is a Satan?
Oh,
Yes,
please,
I
I
know.
couldn't hear what you said for my sister to answer the question. Your network.
Betty.
Sir, please, I will agree that animal farm is a satire because it is criticizing some of the main problems in society in a funny way. So I would say,
Please. I don't want you to go outside the book, speak inside the book. It's not critiquing problems in the society. In the book. So go on.
So sir, it is critiquing what was happening, problems on the farm in I think a funny way, using a fun I say it's using a funny way. That's how I see it.
I see. Right.
Prof, I wanted to find out this. In analyzing the book, don't we have an opportunity to compare it to what is happening in our society? If you say that we should just speak direct on what the book is saying, don't we have to compare or contrast?
Speak to the book. You speak to the book. Tapanda?
Thank you. It's Satan because it is exposing the evils, or it is criticizing. It is critiquing the evils of the animals after they have assumed power. Because before they assume power, they see that everyone will be equal. But when they assume power, they bring the evils.
All right. Please, we're not saying that it criticizes. That is wrong. We don't use the word criticizing. We said critique. Critique does not mean to criticize. Critique means evaluate. Who is that? Ernest, please mute yourself. We're in a new year, so let us be a bit new. Ernest, mute yourself. Thank you. Right. The word I want you to use is critique. C-R-I-T-I-Q-U-E. Critique. And critique does not mean criticize. It means evaluating the two systems and making a judgment. If you criticize, you are likely to be offensive. Criticism, in the sense you are using, is likely to be offensive. Right. Kofi, if you decide to go outside, if I allow you to go outside the text and talk about outside my things, some of you will end up narrating the whole world, the whole world stories to us. And that's not proper. That's why I said I stay in the book and then critique what you see in the book. After all, we all know what is in the book, so we can measure it. If you go outside and tell me something about a country I don't know, how do I measure that? So we insist that students stay within the book and do the critique in the book, right? So with all this I've said, one, let's observe the following, that the book titled Animal Farm was first published as Animal Farm, a fairy story. A fairy story. And I hope you know fairy stories. A fairy story is a story that's about animals, that's not true, that ends happily, and so on, right? But then this one, it doesn't end happily. Unless maybe the writer wants to sound ironic, that it ended happily for those who hold on to capitalism. They will say that it ended happily for us because socialism got collapsed and then capitalism survived and therefore it ended happily. But so when later it was, the title was changed, then the fairy tale moved away. The fairy tale got dropped in the 1946. That was when it was published in the US. First, it was published in UK, 1945, with this title, Animal Farm, a Fairy Story. But when it was published again in 46 in the US, then it dropped the fairy story and just kept the Animal Farm. Right. Now, the title of the novel is the name the animals on Mr. Jones' farm adopted. The original farm was Manor Farm. When Mr. Jones was managing them, he called the place Manor Farm. And Manor belongs to Mr. Jones. Then when the animals got their freedom, they said, no, let's call it Animal Farm. Why do you think it was called Animal Farm? Does it also contribute to the concealment? Yakubu.
Prof, Animal Farm because they wanted to have their own identity and detach from their old system.
All right. Adam.
Okay, Prof. I think it's because of the ideology of animalism.
That's good. That's good. Ideology of animalism. And yeah, Daniel.
Yeah, I think the uh, animal farm, or it was going to be when it changed. It means that the system that is going to dominate in that animal farm when they took over was that of socialism. So, in trying to criticize that, he would want to use names that do not reflect clearly what they are talking about. Thank you.
Kofi.
Yes, they want to have their independence. So in having their independence, animal wouldn't want to associate themselves with any human being. And for that matter, they name it animal farm. So that whatever thing they are doing there will signify only animals and nothing more in human life.
I see. I see. One, the name Animal Farm, yes, is in sync with their philosophy, animalism. That's true by Adam. Two, it also cuts off any individual dominance. Any individual dominance that not one person controls this. We are animals, and just that. To create a sharp contrast between their farm and the farm of the other people around. Where we can talk of the Fredericks farm, we can talk of Pinkerton's farm, we can talk of that other farm, and so on. This one is animal farm. We are simply animals, nothing to do with human beings. That. So that is the point. Now we are going to the plot of it, and we say that Mr. Jones' activities and then also dominated the lives of the animal. We know that. And that the condition of the farm during the reign of Mr. Jones was that of oppression. That of oppression. So the change in the name, Manor Farm to Animal Farm, symbolizes a new name where the animals have the authority over their own affairs. Right. It also symbolizes the old major's idealistic dream on animal. The word is what? Utopia. 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 Animal utopia. What does it? What do you mean of utopia? Matthew?
State of extreme happiness.
I see. Any other? Utopia refers to not Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a country, but this one is Utopia. Right. Yeah, Ruby.
So it's a state of total happiness.
All right. There's a name here. Emmanuel?
Yes, Prof. It means to be in a place where there's harmony and everything is for everybody.
You spoiled it. Adam?
Prof, I would say that a state of which the animals will feel that everything is perfect.
Right. Now, Utopia is a perfect system where everything seems orderly, good, right. Yes, things are done so well. A perfect system. What's the opposite of utopia? What's the opposite of utopia? Yes, Mercy.
Dystopia.
Sister. Under Mercy.
Dystopia.
Dystopia, not the dystopia, yeah. So dystopia is the opposite of utopia. So therefore, and it's not possible that there can be a society where everything is orderly, everything is perfect, everything is good, etc. And therefore, it is just a dream. So we have it described as Emmanuel, please mute yourself. We have the dream of old major described as idealistic dream and not realistic dream. Idealistic dream, not realistic dream, right? So that is the story. The to create, please, the first system is what everybody yearns for. Everybody yearns for. On the other hand, as whether we can achieve it or not is the second thing. So the fable has relevance for political ideologies. The fable, which means that using animal characters dominantly in a story is to put forward political ideologies. So in a way, we can refer to Animal Farm as a political satire. A political satire because it critiques political systems, two political systems. Now, the word is allegory. There's a crucial word called allegory. The book can be described as symbolic. The book can be described as allegory. It is symbolic, it's allegory. They are all related. Now, if we talk of allegory, then we are saying that it is a story. It is a story in which the names of the characters reflect their attributes. The names of the characters reflect their attributes. So, for example, if you take boxer, boxer, a boxer doesn't get tired. A boxer must work and work and work and fight until it drops dead. So in the book, there's a character called Boxer who would always say that, as for me, I work, I work, I work and work and work. And he worked there until he dropped sick. And then Napoleon sold him to the butchers to go and then kill him and sell him out. That's Boxer. I've told you who Napoleon is. A French revolutionist whose duty was to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and fight to a point that when there was nobody to fight, he became disturbed, just like Alexander. Right? I've told you about Snowball, that his name is to gather. He's always working and making improvement here and there. So that's allegory. Narrating the story of farm animals who endure oppression and neglect at the hands of their drunken owner. Do not forget that thus the description of Jones also is a critique on England. That if England was once upon a time a capitalist society, then the managers of that capitalist society didn't do things well. But Jones here is described as a drunken owner. He is an oppressor. He is also someone who neglects easily his duties. Right. The story is evoked through the inspiration of old Major, who dreamt that a society for the animals is one that has no human presence. In the life of the animals, they carry out a rebellion with the intention create and central conflict in the text. So, Mr. Hand is up. Any problem?
Yes, please. Please, I beg to ask. You said satire means that when there is a critique in a humorous or a funny way. Please, I want to know because it seems there's nothing humorous in this story. Because if you read it, it seems you feel pains like it hurts you that they are treating the animal that way. So,
and I want to point out that
to understand
satire does not necessarily thrive on humor. Satire does not necessarily thrive on humor. Unless teaching, so in that sense, you can talk of humor. But then, so the humor is inherent, but not the physical humor as we may see in History to Conquer and those things. So the humor is in the character. The lightheartedness is in the characters and then their attitudes. A minute. Right. So this idea of satire does not necessarily imply the funny things, but we can talk about some of them in the context of the animals and the way they behave. I hope you're okay, Mercy.
Yes, please. Thank you, Prof.
You're welcome. Right. So, having gotten rid of Mr. Jones, the animals believe they have overcome human oppression. But was that right? Was it right that they had overcome human oppression? No. Because if you think about Mr. Jones, there were other human entities around Mr. Jones. That Mr. Jones was not the only human entity in the world. So if overcome Mr. Jones, if overcome just one of them. Just one of them. Because later we see that the animals go back to be in relationship with the other human beings around. Right. And don't forget that if we talk of the human beings around and then the alliances that the animals establish, it talks of the impossibility of one species living on its own without any support from the others. So there's no way human beings can live without the animals supporting the animal presence. There's no way animals can also live on their own fully without any human alliance. It can never be. Good. That's the message there. So the success of their revolt is marked by the change of name from Man of Antanua Farm. They adopted the 7 commandments from the spirits of animalism, which Old Major had ignited in them. Now, the commandments, we'll go back to, when we go to Shadow of Imana, we'll see commandments there too. And the commandments in the Bible. In Shadow of Imana, there are 10 commandments, 10 Hutu commandments. In Animal Farm, it is 7 animalism principles. Now, the question is why 7? Don't forget, I've said that everything in this book is symbolic. Don't forget, the animals are looking for utopia, a perfect system, a perfect society. And therefore, whatever they do echoes this idea of perfection. And you and I know that 7 is a perfect number. 7 is considered a perfect number. So, for the animals to show perfection, 7 comes in as the 7 commandments from the spirit animalism, which is a perfect number. And if you also look at the content of the commandment, you realize that it aims at creating a very perfect society, just like Muhammad is now doing in Ghana, trying to create a perfect society in almost everything. That the dollar is coming down, the petrol prices coming down, everything good, good, good. And then the Yanum trying to say that we have wasted money on gold board when gold board has made a lot of profit for us. Yes, that's what was done. Now take note that in creating this perfect society, uh, championed by the pigs, the animal that led all these things in all these is indeed Snowball. Snowball. Right. Please give me a minute. I'll be with you soon, please. Yeah, Rosemary. All right, let's me go on. Writing those things. Animal first not political novel. You came in the perfection in utopia is reflected in the seven commandments, the perfect number, and everything, and the snowballing attitude of Snowball, who was championing or leading the animals in all this. Of course, Napoleon was also working, but then at the initial phases, we didn't see him as hardworking, intelligent, and then forthright as Snowball. We didn't see him in that. So the animals prospered initially because they went into the struggle, were really, really pursuing their dream, really, really putting things so right that no one had a need. There was a need to have education, so they were attending school here and there, and all those things. Even the most stupid animals were learning. I mean, the sheep, they were learning. Yes. So the animal began to find their interest in Snowball teaching the other animals. Who's that, please?
Abugri,
Who's disturbing
mute.
us?
Abugri.
Right. So Snowball was teaching the other animals to read and write what Napoleon's on the principles of animalism. Now take note of Napoleon's interest, young puppies. You will learn later that it is these young puppies that who got up one day or later to become his bodyguards. It was these young puppies who, in a way, chased Snowball out of the system. So it is obvious that in a political system or in a revolution, it is not everyone who will think alike the leaders. So if we go into the story, yes, the animals wanted freedom. Yes, the animals were together for their freedom. But within them, there were others who were also yearning to be the leaders. The collective interest did not sit so well with all of them. So if you come to USSR those days, and as we have it today, the conflict, the struggles were there until it finally broke down in the late 90s. So the symbolic elements are in Napoleon schooling the young puppies on the principles of animalism. He teach them animalism. Then there is abundance of food and division of labor on the farm. The peers gradually assume the leadership positions and allow themselves certain privileges. Look at this one too. Allow themselves certain privileges, which included special food, special menu for their health, and so on. And that's where the problem started. Because if we say that we should look at everything and share everything equally, why would you at a point in time say that me, because I am this and that, I need this more than this and that and that and that and that? No. No. Of course, in matters of health, we can talk about it. For example, if at home mother cooks, and she thinks that the health of the children are so important, so they should eat more protein, and then the father will eat more carbohydrates. That is fine. Unfortunately, in our societies, we see fathers eating more protein and the children eating carbohydrates. And I don't think such fathers are good fathers. The children need the protein more than the adults need. Right. They are reading because they can take it back. But the right might be done. So that's one critique in animal farm. So Mr. Jones and his men attempt to reclaim the farm. However, this is backfires. It is after this attack that Snowball declares his intention to build a windmill. So we are looking at Snowball as the technological hub of animal farm. Napoleon disagrees with this modernization and instructs his dogs to chase Snowball out of the farm. So look at this. It is right that Mr. Jones was ousted from the farm because he didn't have time to feed the animals. I'll come back. He didn't have time to feed the animals, but on the part of Napoleon and Snowball, it is a matter of development. If animals want to develop, they're the new technology. Why would Napoleon say that if you want the technological development, I'm not for it, so therefore we should chase you out of this place? Right? So there's coup d'etat and counter coup d'etat in the story. So subsequently, Napoleon declares himself the sole leader of the farm, and he implements several changes in the governance structure of the farm. He implements several changes in the governance structure of the farm. So their regular meetings are substituted with a committee of pigs who will manage the affairs of the farm. Squilla, one of the pigs, becomes Napoleon's spokesperson, and then he churns out lies upon lies and all. Right. Adu, let's hear you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Please, my question is, during the presentation, you made mention of Napoleon impacting animalism in the puppies. Please, I want to know whether the puppies that grew up to become those wild dogs, whom were later on killing some of the animals, were they actually in the animalism? Because their attitude.
I hope you didn't hear me well, did you?
Okay.
If you heard me very well, you realize that I asked the question whether Napoleon really imparted that animalism onto them.
Okay.
Other than that, they would not be killing the other animals. So that's
I
irony.
didn't hear it well. Thank you very much, Prof.
Good. So that is the plot of the story. Now we say that Animal Farm is written in 10 chapters. Each chapter is closely related to the plot of the story, though the story is a simple plot and follows direct plots. Though we have that internal divisions. So it's a story that moves from a simple beginning through to an expected end, right? Though there's an attempt to create some suspense here and there through the names, other things that we have mentioned and all those things, but I will still hold the view that indeed this is a simple plot story. But then we can have entire divisions. For example, chapters 1 to 3 introduce the overall characters in the text. What we describe as the exposition. Chapters 1 to 3 gives us the exposition. We introduce to the characters. We introduce the main theme through old major speech, and the ideas of animalism, the rebellion, the self-control, all of these things are introduced in chapters 1 to 3. So a perfect exposition there for us. Then we have chapters 4 to 6. Chapters 4 to 6, where Snowball had worked so hard, and there was a perfect growth development in the book. So the point where Snowball is ousted, chased out of the farm. From 7 to 10 describes how the pigs eventually became like their corrupt human master. So 7 to 10 indicates the evolution from animalism to humanism, whether it is humanism or to humanism, animalism combined, right? And that's where the funny thing is. You see, we have said that if a human being is cheating you, it's more understandable. It is more understandable to that a human being cheating animals. But where an animal gets up to cheat a fellow animal, it's understandable. I believe when you were in school, you went to Form 1, and the seniors were trying to bully you. You understood that yeah, these are seniors, so they can bully us. You become very annoyed when you realize that one of the bullies is your own mate bullying you. You become very angry because you want to see equality. You want to see fairness. So if in the context of the fairness, one of your own decides to go wayward, that becomes a serious thing to accept. And that is the irony. That is the irony in Animal Farm. That is what we see in chapters 7 to 10. The animals becoming so corrupt as corrupt than the human beings. Corrupt than the human beings. So one, we have looked at the exposition, chapters 1 to 3, the rising action to complications 4 to 6. Then we have the climax in chapter 6, maybe chapter 7. Climax in chapter 7. The following action through it. Because when we go to the point where Napoleon makes himself the leader, Squealer the spokesperson, comes in to get to the denouement or the they see Napoleon dressed like a human being, dancing, eating, doing the things that human beings do with human beings, and eventually fighting with them. Fight breaking out, and then I was shouting here and there, right? Oh, so that's called futility. Futility. Nice. Disappointed. All right. Not achieved. So one, we pay attention in the book. I wanted to read the book at all costs. Two, we are the place of Owen's dream to the development of the plot. The place of Owen's dream, the development of the plot. Right. Right. So we want to delve a bit into the characters in the book. And from what we have said, from what we have said, the characters in the book can be categorized into major characters, minor characters, and then we can talk of supporting characters. So, for example, we have 3 characters, 3 major characters. We are talking of Old Major. We are talking of Napoleon, right? Old Major, Napoleon, Snowball. These are 3 major characters. And I remember someone asking me, was yesterday or day before, that Old Major didn't stay in the book for long. Snowball didn't stay in the book for long. So how does he become a major character? And I explained that Old Major is a very significant character in the book. At least he is seen as the architect, the dreamer, the wise man, the one who pushed the animals into all this. The Snowball is seen as the positive energy, the positive developer. Don't forget that he is the initiator of all the positive things that happen in the book, including technology, education, science education. So we can look at Snowball as that. For us, we see Napoleon as the architect of dictatorship, the architect of return to the old systems. We see him, Napoleon, in that. But then when we come to Squilla, Boxer, Glover, we don't know whether we should look at them as real major characters or what others may call pseudo major characters. Because if you take them out of the book, we will not get the story as it is. But they are not those that the story is also really about. For example, if we look at Squilla, if he's not in the book, we will not get the stories that some of the stories that we get, the lies that we get. But he is a definition of propaganda. He is the definition of a manipulator. And I used to compare him to a certain man who lived in the times of Rawlins Revolution. His name is P.V. Obeng. P.V. Obeng. P.V. gentleman with a kind of roundish, bulging eye, and then when he gets up to speak, you don't see saliva on his lip. I mean, he speaks, he rattles, he'll convince you. Don't forget, Rawlins during the revolution was not too much of an intellectual, not too much of a politician, not too much of all those things. So he surrounded himself with people with this acumen, and they could do the job for him. You're talking of P.V. Obeng, you're talking of J.F. Annan, you're talking of Kosibuchi, you're talking of the Ahoy, you're talking of the Gusitanos. I mean, those powerful people around him. And that's how I see Squilla. Bossa is representative of the hard-working masses of the society, the hard-working masses of the animals in the book, right? So Bossa stands for, and Bossa, at the end, we are told that he was sold out and then killed because he said he was sick. So the concept of utilitarianism, if you are not useful, we throw you away, is woven around Boxer. That no matter what you do, if your relevance goes down, we don't need you. And as a country, it appears that's where we get to. As people, that's what we do. The moment somebody's relevance goes down, in families, in homes, if the man is not able to provide up money, is no longer important. If the wife is not able to do one or two things, she's no longer important. That's what we see in Boxer. For Clover, yes, he is also one of the careful animals who scrutinizes things before he does it. Makes speeches carefully after serious scrutiny. Right. So we look at these and we can say that we have three major characters and three pseudo major characters. Right. And it is these that the story really revolves around, or it is these that hold the story. It is these that make the story as it is. Right. And we can see these as playing some significant roles in the book, as I have mentioned earlier. Good. Then we have yeah. So if you look at Snowball, yeah, he has a special place even during Mr. Jones's time. The special place even during Mr. Jones's time. We are told that he's more vivacious than Napoleon. He's quicker in speech and more inventive. Right? More inventive. Right. He is innovative. We are told that he's an intelligent and the most eloquent of all the pigs. And he's equally brave and instrumental in the battle of the cowshed. Don't forget that the revolutions came up with him leading, championing. At a point, we are told that he even sustained an injury. He was shot. He sustained an injury. And that makes him the hero of the farm, because we are told that you can't be a revolutionist without a wound. You should be able to have it. He is more of an idealistic person. He's more of technologically oriented, because he is the brain behind the windmill that was aimed at generating electricity that will work on the farm to reduce the stress of the animals. That's Napoleon for you, Snowball for you. So as the name goes, he has these good attributes that makes him gather the animals around him, snowballing, gather the animals around him. Now, he has other negative sides, and that makes him the pig we know. That when the pigs were eating more of the apples and drinking more of the milk, he was quiet. So how good was he? How idealistic was he? If he could not condemn that which was wrong, then he's part of the clique. So from those, we will say that if the pigs were exploiting the animals, he was part of it. Again, he also allowed the rivalry with Napoleon to continue. Right? Because he would not discuss issues amicably, but he will resort to unnecessary entrenched democratic principles. He knew for sure that if the animals were to vote on the windmill, which would generate electricity and reduce the workload of the animals, Napoleon will lose. And Napoleon, per who he is, we'll talk about him very soon, will not sit down to lose this battle or to lose a vote. And he decided to use the pigs, the dogs, to chase Snowball out of the farm. So he was also part of his own exit from the farm. Napoleon behaves like MPP from 2017 to 2024, who was always referring to their negatives to the doings of Mahama. That because of Mahama that this has happened. So even 8 years after Mahama's exit, and people were still making reference to Mahama as he's the reason why they couldn't succeed. It's the reason why the dollar was coming up and the city going down. Right. So even when Snowball had left, if there are people here, so what? I don't care. I'm teaching. They can go to hell. They'll destroy the country. Right. So although Snowball was no longer visible on the farm, we are told that everything that happened on the farm negatively was attributed to Snowball. And with this attitude, Napoleon became famous by defaming Snowball. Napoleon became famous by defaming Snowball to the point of looking for him to even execute him. So looking for him to execute him. Though he was not executed anywhere, but Napoleon makes a statement that Snowball had been executed, killed, made to suffer punishment for the excesses that he committed on the farm. And that's also something against the animalistic policy in the book. Right. A hand was up. Sorry, I needed to finish. A hand was up. Who's that? Can we hear you? Napoleon. Who is put down in the book to whom? Yeah. And his Snowball, he was also one that was very okay. There was going to be an edition and state. He was preparing there too. That is Snowball. And he left Allah. And then this one, a fear looking Berkshire. Ball. Fierce looking Berkshire. And he is also the only Berkshire on the farm. He doesn't talk much, but with a reputation of getting things his own way. He doesn't talk much, but his reputation of getting things done his own way is so strong in the book. To do the things that he does in the book. We are going to vote. I don't want you to vote. If you insist on voting, then I'll get you out of this place. So Snowball insists on voting, and then he's chased out of the park. That is the nature of Napoleon. That's the nature of Napoleon. On the positive side, he and Snowball lead the rebellion against Mr. Jones. He and Snowball develops the ideology of animalism. He and Snowball were the champions, were the brains behind the success and the forward march of the animal farm. He and Snowball led in the major wars on the farm. The only thing is that he soon became a cruel, the word is what? A cruel dictator after rebellion. And he begins to control all affairs on the farm until he grows into undisputed tyrant. Good. Napoleon holds himself in high esteem. He's more important than all the other animals. He is paranoid, and does not accept his fault. What do you mean paranoid? When somebody is paranoid, what does it mean? Yeah, Daniel?
Thanks, Prof. He doesn't accept his faults.
Yeah, doesn't accept his fault. Any other?
A person who is overly suspicious.
Thank you. Overly suspicious. So even when you are sharing something positive, he looks at you with a certain eyes, right? With a certain eyes, right? So he's paranoid. So, and because of that, he blames Snowball for every mishappening in the text. Yes, and that's what I liken Snowball Napoleon to MPP from 2017 to 2024. Good. Pushing every blame on Mahama, even though Mahama had left long time ago. Yeah, good. So at the end of the narration, Napoleon becomes the duplicate of the human he fought against. He becomes the human he fought against. He starved the animals and made them helpless. He grew fat, more powerful, walks on 2 legs, sleeps in a bed, wears clothes. He carries a whip, drinks alcohol, and above all, parties with humans that he denounced. And that's where the real irony comes in. The irony of pain comes in. That's where the real satire comes in. So even if the human beings are doing things wrongly, the animals, through Napoleon, succeed in being worse off than the human beings. If Mr. Jones was not feeding them, that's fine. That's understandable. But to have animal leaders who not feed the animals, that is not understandable. That's understandable. Good. And people will liken this one to most of the leaders of Africa after independence. Most of the leaders of Africa after independence, thinking that they had left the people, the things that they spoke against the white, they have come to do most of them. Yeah. So that is another worry. Good. The next animal we are talking about is old Major, who is the oldest pig on the farm. So the old there is old Major. And because of that, he is highly he died at age 12. He died before the animals staged the coup d'etat. And we are told that he's the one who had a dream. Don't forget that dreams are seen as sophisticated means of getting information to share. And I know some of you don't play with your dreams. Yes, you want to hold on to your dreams. You want to see meaning in your dreams because you believe the gods might have said something to you in the dream that must come to pass. Spirits might have revealed things to you. So the animals approach the dream of old Major this way. They approach the dream of old Major this way. Don't forget that if he had not had this dream, there was no way the animals were going to get any impetus, motivation to stage the revolution that they staged against against Mr. Jones, against Mr. Jones. And it is he who taught the animal the song, The Beast of England. The Beast of England. Good. Don't forget that I've talked to you about the Beast of England, the role of animals during the Industrial Revolution. The animals were doing all kinds of jobs. They were carrying, they are weeding, they were plowing, they are everything. They were doing it. That was why Snowball at the point had to devise electricity, the windmill for the electricity. Right. Now, if Old Major didn't do anything at all, his ability to get the animals to accept the dream and also to hold on to animalism, a theory that Napoleon and Snowball later developed 3 months after Old Major's death. It was crucial for the animal farm because he put in place, one, the motivation through the dream, two, the necessity through the dream, and three, gave them the philosophy to live on. Right. So one thing that the animals did to honor him was to make him the father of the revolution by erecting his skull on a stamp at the foot of the flagstaff, so the animals can walk past it respectfully, reverently. Right. Just like the statues that people build around, and then the statues get worshipped here and there by the animals. Right. Now, let's talk about the supporting or the pseudo characters, as I mentioned, the Squilla, Boxer, Glover, and the rest. Yes, we can talk about them also. And I said Squilla, for instance, is the most popular male poker on the farm. He's a big, fat pig with reputation as a skilled orator. We are told that he is the one who can turn black into white and white into black. Yes. When he gets up to speak, question the truth, question his tongue, his lips here and there, with all the gestures, the animals themselves even feared him. And he became the spokesperson for Napoleon. Don't forget that we are told Napoleon was not a talker. No, he was not a talker. He was more of action. Right. So he passes information from the pigs to the animals. He's the one who addresses them on Sundays. Kojo, sorry, can't hear you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Respectfully, with the song, The Beast of England, if we are asked to discuss the significance or the relevance of the song in the development of the plot, can you please guide me on that, respectfully?
Why are you rushing? Why are you rushing?
Okay, sorry, Prof.
We have done the plot. We have come to the characters. We may come to other symbolic things. So don't rush us, please. Right. So Squilla does the addresses on Sundays. A system that Ghanaian politicians have also adopted. We know in Ghana, once in a while, we hear of accountability meeting. It is now held at the Jubilee House. It used to be at the Press center. But now it is at Jubilee House. I don't know why Mahama has moved to Jubilee House. Maybe in his attempt to demystify Jubilee House and make Jubilee House a common place, which is also good. So anybody at all can go there. It's not that you get there only when there's something. No. Yeah. So we have stairs around all the time in modern politics who are giving information here and there. Now, we say that he sometimes succeeds in convincing them. In other times, he also uses force when he wants to use force to push forward Napoleon's objective or Napoleon's plans. He comes with the dogs. The dogs stand beside him and look sternly at the animals, so that if anyone tries to Napoleon or Thriller, just like Napoleon, is he teaches the people to bleed 4 legs good, 2 legs better. Back into the of humanity. This is where the satire comes in strongly. This is the whole. The gust comes in strong. Let's go about Boxer, a huge, gentle cat horse. And Napoleon and Snowball work, and a physical appearance matches up with a hard-working attitude. The old major's dream and the 7 commandments excite him a lot, and he puts himself very essential to activities on the farm. He is able to convince his peers to support the work on the farm, and he says it is his hard-working nature that compels the animals to rebuild the windmill when it got destroyed. So he's the epitome of hard work. He is the symbol of hard work. He represents the working class of the animal farm. Clover, on the other hand, is very cool, compassionate, and yet a powerful cat horse. She is a motherly horse who naturally shields the weaker animals. She also tries to help her close friend, Boxer, after his collapse. So you have a she and a he, two workforces. So they are symbolic, representing females and males, that the development of any society does not hinge on the males, does not hinge on the females, but it hinges on the correct. Boxer collapses at a point in time. It is Clover who comes to his aid to help him stand up. Because she is a mother, she protects all other animals. Her compassionate qualities are echoed in the communal spirit that the 7 commandments hold. And Clover supports the rebellion and the spirits of animalism strongly. However, she's suspicious of the case violation of the commandments. Yet she cannot be certain about it because she wasn't able to commit all of commandment to memory. So she's a horse. What can she learn? A little. As for Bossa, 4 letters. As for her, she attempted learning, but could not commit all of them to memory. So her suspicion could not have a serious grounding in the book. Right. There we have minor characters in the book whose actions contribute to the plot, but may not be too much a focal point of the story. But I want to say that there are some minor characters whose presence in the book are very, very, very important. For example, we can never do away with Mr. Jones. Neither can we do away with the Pickenton, nor can we do away with the Fredericks. We cannot. We cannot do away with the sheep, do away with the hens, the dogs. We cannot. These are minor characters, but their roles are very, very important in the realization of the attributes we are discussing or the attributes we are assigning to the major characters. You agree with me that if these minor characters had not been there, the major characters would never be what they are. We will not see that Napoleon one day be in bed with human beings if the human beings had not been there. If Mr. Jones had not been there, there wouldn't be any need for old Nigeria to dream and to think of an utopia. The presence of these minor characters like Mr. Jones created the dystopia the animals found, and therefore the edge for an utopia. So they're very important. Mr. Jones, very important. We need to pay attention to him and then look at what he does. His weaknesses are those that brought about this revolution. The weakness of Mr. Jones is that which brought about the revolution. One, we are told that he's the owner of Manor Farm, and he is a dictator. Would we call him a dictator? No. He is a master over animals. And the animals saw his mastership as a dictatorship, totalitarianism, and therefore the need to rebel. We are told that he is a fierce master, and for years, he has been punishing the animals. His major weakness is that he is a drunkard, he is careless, he is unkind, and he is not effective as a leader. Yeah, Hannah, your hand is up. Hannah, your hand is up.
Sorry, sir. It was a mistake.
All right. So he's wicked and arrogant farm owner who no longer feeds the animals as often as he used to. And he's constantly using the whip on the animals. He tries to whip the animals when they break the stalls to feed themselves on the grain. So if he had not whipped them, they wouldn't have staged any coup d'etat. And therefore, his neglect of the animals is what sparked the rebellion, leading to his expulsion and the animals taking over the farm. He attempts a comeback, but he fails and loses the farm completely to the animals. Mr. Jones finally spends the rest of his time in Willingdon. Right, that's Mr. Jones. He's a minor character. We'll see him as such, but we're saying that he is an indispensable character in the book. He's an indispensable character in the book. We cannot deal without him. We cannot deal without him. Right. So, any question up to this point, ladies and gentlemen? Any question? All right. If there are no questions, I can see that you have not read the book. Those of you who have read it have not finished reading it. To commentaries for the discussion. Please, when I set my questions will require detailed information from the book. So please go and read the book. When we come back next week, Monday, yeah, we will finish this one and then move to the other one, which is Clothes of Nakedness, and then we'll finish it all the following week with Shadow of Imana. Right. Could your hand is up? Any problem?
Yeah, Prof. Please, whilst we're discussing, you said Snowball allowed rivalry to continue in the farm, and he said the same Snowball, he was part of his own
Snowball allowed what?
rivalry.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and he also said that he was part of his own exit because he didn't stop wrong happenings. Yeah, with being part of his own exit is very clear, but with the rivalry, can you please elaborate on that for me, respectfully?
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, if there are two leaders, two people leading a revolution, and one wants to always have his own way. So from the two, Napoleon would always want to have his own way. Snowball wants to have his own way, and that deepens rivalry. So if there's a discussion that we can sit down and talk, and they come to agreement before we implement it, and one says that, okay, then let's vote. The one who cannot convince the animals to vote for him, sorry. The one who cannot convince the animal to vote for him would also adopt a strategy. So when the voting became too much, then he has to get rid of Snowball. The point I'm making is that if the Snowball had learned to be accommodating, had learned to discuss and agree, maybe Napoleon wouldn't have ousted him. Right? That is the rivalry I'm talking of.
Thank you, Prof.
You're welcome. Any other question? All right. So we'll end here and we'll continue. Okay, there are two hands. Mercy.
Sir, please, mine is a humble suggestion. Regarding a change of time on Monday.
Which is?
An additional one that would do, please.
What do you mean by that?
7 a.m., please. Instead of 6, please.
Why? Why?
Sir, please, it's a humble suggestion, please.
Monday, I have to go to work. We are resuming. The students are coming on Monday. So I must be there to do my registration and those. So when we finish early, I can go.
All right, sir, then no problem. Thank you.
Good. So let us learn to wake up early. I beg you. I slept around 1 and I tried to wake up by 6. So I was here. So just about 10 people couldn't join, and that's fine. All right. So on Saturday for drama, and I will meet on Monday and Tuesday for post-patient.
Next week Thursday, sir. For the basic school teachers.
Let's do our last position on Monday, Tuesday, right?
Tuesday, not Thursday.
It's Thursday, please.
No,
Hey,
it's 6. Is it not 6?
hey, please.
The reopening is on 8.
Check your
The reopening is 8.
Who are using old
Thursday.
timetable?
Yeah, Thursday.
It's not Thursday. Check it well.
Thursday.
You
It's
are
not that it's Thursday. You check it.
old timetable.
We are reopening on the Thursday.
Well, the first time you open on Thursday. Check. You are using old timetable.
Thursday. We have a holiday on Tuesday also. It's Thursday. We
Don't
have
fall on
holiday.
old timetable. Check. Get the correct timetable for 2026.
But I didn't go to ask for.
Wednesday, it is Thursday.
The day that we give the limit.
Seventh is Saturday. That's
Education
we are
office.
opening. If
His professor has left, so stop debating on the day. It's Thursday.
Just debating and
Not
hearing.
Thursday. Not Thursday.
That was the
Sir,
day that
Professor
was
has said Monday
Get
and
the
what?
correct timetable.
Monday will
So
be
if you
meeting.
choose the
Is that not
children
it?
is Thursday, you are correct.
Professor said Monday you will be meeting us. Is that not it?
Oh, brother. Today,
Yes,
So
it's
which
a
date are we
Thursday.
talking about?
I said today, first January.
You are debating on reopening date, which is Tuesday, and you are using the old timetable.
Are you sure you are okay? No. Well, I'm on today. I don't agree with you. No. You are my elder brother. I don't agree with you. Bra. Today, Thursday. Ah, no. Today, you didn't do.
Please, the reopening is on Thursday. Mr. Man, majority has said Thursday. Go and check it. It's Thursday, not Tuesday, please.
I think they have not changed anything. Let us be changed. We are going to look on Thursday. Wednesday will be the old day.
Let's not argue over Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesday when you open, you go. Your Thursdays people will go. Obiara in school. What will be Tuesday call, Monday call, Obiara call there. You know, school, you know, your pen, Saturday and your go Tuesday phone call, Thursday phone call. We ain't here. The animal from Naya can was a man
That's
as
all,
a
my
Tuesday
brother.
to
That's
Thursday.
all. That's all. Obiang Panede. No, no.
It is not about Obiang Konidio. I'm sure Prof was asking because he might reschedule his timing from the 6 a.m. Yeah, that's how I understood it.
Yeah, I know
Definitely.
that. I was just saying it to back the guy who said Obiang Panede. Not that I'm saying it for Prof to do anything.
hey, we have one.
Hey, Kofi, once I go see what's wrong, that's something that will be sir.
What's the matter? I'm an early walker, and now the other. Leo sema tu ni immediate program tu. Your voice in me. Go to your mama.